Alicia Menendez, The Likeability Trap, How to Break Free and Succeed as You Are. In The Likeability Trap, How to Break Free and Succeed as You Are, Alicia Menendez discusses the difficulties women face in balancing likability and authenticity in professional environments. She highlights the double standards women encounter in the workplace, from cultural expectations that restrain their emotions to biases that hinder opportunities for advancement. She also explores the portrayals of gender, race, and ethnicity in relation to likability. By the end, readers will understand the challenges women face due to these conflicting demands and gain insights into how to resist the cultural constraints that hold them back.
The Likability Dilemma. Women who show strength in the male-dominated business world are often perceived as unlikable. Authenticity and effectiveness are necessary for leadership, but competing demands put women in a bind. The requirement to present yourself authentically is even more challenging for those whose identities don't align with the majority culture. The more successful a woman becomes, the less likable she appears. The more she demonstrates strength, the more people question her leadership capabilities and assume negative motives. It seems that warmth, a crucial attribute for likability, is seen as weakness in the business world. Liberating Women. The book challenges the notion that people can control how they are perceived by others and highlights how biases around gender and ethnicity impact likability. The author cautions against asking women to change to fit cultural expectations and instead advocates for a reimagining of leadership. Women should not have to compromise their authentic selves and should work together to break cultural constraints holding them back. By shifting focus to the work accomplished rather than how it's accomplished, they can expand society's understanding of leadership. The solution lies in empowering women to resist and reshape cultural norms, not just in asking them to care less. The Cost of Conforming. Women and marginalized groups face difficult decisions around conforming to stereotypes or standing out to be seen as authentic. This often leads to a performative display of warmth and likability that is not a true representation of their self. Those who deviate from gender, race, or ethnicity stereotypes tend to be seen as incompetent or unlikable. The result is constant emotional labor to avoid stereotyping and workplace bias, which drains energy from doing great work. Half of U.S. employees acknowledge minimizing aspects of their identities to fit in with the accepted workplace norms, leading to a false sense of inclusion and belonging. The success penalty for women. The success penalty for women is when they become less likable for displaying ambition and self-promotion. Women who take credit for their achievements are seen as insufficiently modest and less likable, making it difficult for them to win jobs. Negotiating better salary and contract terms also makes them less likable and increases the likelihood of rejection. Acting entitled to equal treatment and behaving dominantly also incurs a likability penalty. However, ambition is a sign of resilience, especially for Black women who cannot afford to be wishy-washy about their goals. They see leadership as an opportunity to reshape their field, influence those in positions of authority, and empower themselves and others. Unapologetic ambition is essential for their success. The book emphasizes that the success penalty for women sets in before they even achieve success. Onlookers often view women's ambition and actions as a demerit, with hiring criteria becoming less about skills and more about social presentation. The book suggests that the system needs to change, not the women, and encourages women to continue to pursue their aspirations despite the obstacles they may face. Women in politics. Women seeking public office face amplified double binds and paradoxical expectations around likability and competence. Confidence is key, but media evaluations of their appearance can undermine their credibility and effectiveness. Male candidates, on the other hand, do not suffer the same demerits. Women who declare themselves fit for office are perceived as making a power grab, even if their goal is public service. The traits that demonstrate confidence in women include relatability, self-deprecating humor, the ability to tell stories, and the willingness to share credit for successes. Authenticity versus social media. Women with high social media profiles often face abuse and trolling, making it challenging to be authentic. Most women choose to stay true to themselves despite the risks involved. Social media rewards people for showing only popular aspects of themselves, causing them to hide important parts. It's risky for most women to be true to themselves in the social media sphere. To negotiate this trade-off, women must create breathing space between their public and private lives or only reveal their full selves to those they know and trust. Gender bias in anger expression. Women expressing anger in the workplace are often perceived as less competent, while men's anger is seen as a response to external factors. This bias results in diminished persuasiveness for angry women, while angry men are perceived as more competent and persuasive. To overcome the bias, women must express what triggered their anger. The culture condones men's anger more than women's, which leads to a pressure for women to be pleasant and accommodating. Detaching from the need for validation. The continuous need for approval from others can lead to overthinking situations and worrying about perceptions. One way to overcome this is to take care of oneself and stop caring about people's opinions. In the workplace, ask for specific feedback and focus on professional growth. Replace negative criticism with positive affirmations. Seek a sponsor and powerful ally who can advocate for your success. Recognize your value and leave toxic environments. The key is to stop being your worst critic and be authentic with yourself. Remember, you can't please everyone, so focus on being true to yourself. Effective leadership for the future. The key to effective leadership involves a balance of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and integrity. Cultivating relationships with advocates is also crucial. Being likable is not the most important quality for a leader, and prioritizing it harms women's development. In a future economy dominated by AI, creativity, diversity, and empathetic communication will be essential, making leadership styles often associated with women valuable. Women in leadership. Women can challenge bias by promoting female colleagues and prioritizing results over likability. Companies should encourage sponsorship and prioritize diversity rather than penalizing minority managers for hiring people like themselves. Teams with diverse members encourage creativity and innovation. Regular feedback from colleagues, clients, and peers supports performance evaluations. By creating a culture of female leadership, companies can benefit from the variety of perspectives offered by diverse teams.
Alicia Menendez's The Likability Trap prompts us to question the importance placed on likability for women seeking leadership positions, along with the cultural constraints that hinder their authenticity and growth. As a possible solution, Menendez suggests shifting the focus from how the work gets done to the outcomes it produces. By doing so, a new understanding of leadership can emerge that embraces diversity and a range of authentic leadership styles. Instead of perpetuating the issue, women can work together to promote each other's successes and make meaningful changes within their organizations. Ultimately, in a world where artificial intelligence threatens traditional roles, fostering creativity, collaboration, and empathetic leadership becomes more important than ever.